Hear me out when I say this. Do not click away. Please listen to the whole video. It's important and it needs to be more utilized. And that is the rectum. Medications via the rectum have worked miracles. Hence why I'm making a whole entire video about how we need to get on board with putting medications in the rectum. This should not be a last resort. This should be like one of the things we do because that's how well it works. So let me tell you why. Our rectums are vascular. So you put in medications in the rectum. It doesn't have to be suppositories, by the way. I'll get into that later in the video. But you put medications in the rectum and they absorb quickly and get into your bloodstream quickly. The other day, again, details have been changed, but I was with a patient who had uncontrolled nausea and vomiting. They had been being tortured, it felt like they said, for the past 3 days because they could not take anything by mouth, even sublingual medications, meaning medications you don't have to swallow. They could not keep it down. We started giving medications via the rectum, and guess what? Within 15 minutes, this person was finally at ease. And they had plans to do all these crazy things to this person. And then luckily I walked in, Queen, let's try everything in the rectum. And I'm not trying to act like the hero, but I think people just don't think about this. I said, wait, before we do all that crazy stuff, needles, this and that, making it worse, I think. It probably wouldn't be effective anyway. We put the medication via the rectum, and guess what? 15 minutes later, this person, symptoms controlled. So, I'm saying all this so you guys know how much I mean it, and it needs to be utilized more. And if it's not with your loved one, bring it up to your hospice team because there's not many contraindications, meaning things that like why you shouldn't. There really isn't. I think we just don't because people think, ugh, the butt, we don't want to do that. But I think once you see how well it works, you'll come around. You'll come around to my side. I'll go into this a little more, but now that you've heard what I had to say and you're listening to this video, tell me in the comments, would you do this if you knew that it would likely work? It would likely fix the problem. Would you be willing to start taking medications via the rectum? I know if I was on hospice, or even if I'm not on hospice, honestly, if me or any of my family members are having issues and the regular route, oral route, is not working and not effective, 100%, next station, the rectum. And I know I'm making this seem funny because why else? We need to bring some humor into this, but I'm serious, really. The rectum is a vascular place that works very well, and I've seen it control symptoms that nothing else could. The main thing people think of are suppositories, which are great. There's Tylenol suppositories you can use for fever or pain. Those work so well, specifically for pain. Many people take them for the fever aspect, but for pain, it also works very effectively. There are suppositories for constipation. Obviously, those work very well. Those are the most common ones, I think. The third is for nausea and vomiting, like compazine suppositories. Those are amazing. And then what I'd like to say is a lot of the comfort pack medications come in liquid form. So Ativan, morphine, Haldol, all of those medications, they usually come with a little syringe. All of those medications can be given rectally. And guess how effective they are? Effective. It is so effective. If your loved one's not handling the sublingual medication very well, or it doesn't seem to be working very well, or they're nauseous and they can't take it, of course you have to talk to a doctor. You can't just do it. You have to talk to a doctor. The nurse has to get the orders that it's okay to do it. But once you get that okay, try it and see. I've seen it work, like I said, miracles. And it doesn't have to be, oh, because nothing else is working and we're at the last resort. No, it can be just because you want symptoms to be regulated and regulated quickly. Advocate for yourself. There is really no reason except for the fact that people don't think to use the rectum. So I tried something new recently. AG1 reached out to me and sent me their product. I like the way they packaged it, if I'm honest. I like the way how it looked. And when I reached back out to them saying thank you for, sending me this, like I thought they would immediately want to do an ad. And they said, no, we want you to try it first. You have to try it for 30 days. Tell us what you think. And if you like it, then we'll talk. And I thought, that's different. The fact that this company even said they didn't want to do that until I tried it for 30 days, I thought, maybe I'll try it. I'm telling you, I've noticed my digestion has improved, my mood has improved. I felt a boost in energy and I feel energized. I don't really crave sweets, but I crave like salty, like kind of bad junk food. I haven't been doing that. I'm noticing like a remarkable change. After 30 days of this, I'm like hook, line, sinker. I love it. I've been telling my sister, my parents, and of course, my boyfriend, Mustache Richie. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, keto, and vegan. I love it. I've been recommending it to my family, my friends, and now you. I hope it helps. Now let's get back to the video. And now you guys have seen me time after time talk about the Macy catheter. The Macy catheter is an actual device. So instead of having to use suppositories or like I said, those little syringes from the comfort pack, you can actually place a catheter. It's called the Macy catheter. It looks kind of like a Foley catheter, but it goes into the rectum. Then it comes out and rests on the person's thigh. So you don't actually have to turn them all the time or place the medication in their rectum. There's already a catheter there, and then you use the port on their thigh to give the medication. So that is another more dignified, easy way for the patient and their family to also get rectal medications. A great example of when this would be needed, but not the only time, is uncontrolled nausea and vomiting. There are many diseases, specifically when there's like the colon or the stomach involved, where someone has uncontrolled nausea and vomiting. Or if someone has like a small bowel obstruction, and every time they take anything by mouth, they throw up. So it's like constant nausea and vomiting, constant throwing up. That is one of the symptoms that I actually rarely see on hospice, but when you see it, it's really hard because the person's really suffering. This is a prime example, a perfect time to use rectal medications. Anti-nausea medications, rectum. If they're having pain or they're really restless, you can give morphine or Ativan via rectum. I have seen it with my own eyes work miracles for patients who have been wildly uncomfortable for days because of nonstop nausea and vomiting. I want to be clear that when I give this example, that's a great example of when you can use it. But generally speaking, I want people to understand that you can just use it. You can just utilize your rectum to give medications. Now, of course, like I said, because it's not typical and we usually use sublingual medications in our mouth or swallowing pills going into our digestive system, that's like the typical way, but it doesn't have to be. You can talk to your doctor about other ways to give medications, specifically if the ways that you were doing it aren't really working. Let's say you have a lot of pain and the sublingual morphine's not really doing it. You can see if giving it rectally is more effective, and it could be for whatever reason. Now, maybe it's not more effective, and there are certain medications you can't give via rectum, like any kind of extended release medication you could not give via the rectum. I don't think, anyway. A doctor or a pharmacist could tell me that's wrong, but I don't think you could. So there are certain medications you probably couldn't give rectally, but you always can bring it up to your doctor and see what they say, specifically if your symptoms aren't being managed. This is a great way to get your symptoms managed. So, what have we learned today? We have learned that medication via the rectum is a good thing. We don't have to be afraid of it. Let's normalize medications via the rectum. You're welcome.